Hi there, my name is Ash, and I like to draw. And today I want to draw some new characters. But before I begin, I just want to ask you guys a question. Like, if I say platformer, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Mario? Sonic? Crash? Spyro? Or maybe you'll go a little bit further and bring up characters like Shantae and Shovel Knight. All of these characters are cute, colorful, and charming, and I wanted to draw one of my own with a little bit of help from the internet. So I took to Twitter, no, I'm not calling that place X, and asked people to weigh in on what kind of mascot platform gaming character I should create, with a little bit of help from this handy dandy sheet. Based on the answers on this sheet, I'm gonna have to create a total of 5 characters. The hero, the villain, and 3 basic enemy types. Land, distance, and flying. So let's start it all off by drawing our hero. Going through the sheet we have a red-colored female naga, that is to say a snake person, wearing a heavy metal shirt, capable of spitting venom, with a stoic but anger-prone personality, going up against a trickster style of villain. Alright, that's a pretty solid list of requirements. Now let's get started. Oh yeah, by the way, I usually draw my sketches on paper with pencil, and I don't really have any footage of me doing that, so just bear with me, alright? So the one thing I knew right off the bat was that if I was going to draw a naga, I didn't want it to just be a person with a snake tail for a lower body. The second thing I knew was that I did not want Medusa hair with living snake heads. Instead, I had the idea to use the snake tails as a stand-in for braids, so I went with that. I had to say that the suggestion of a heavy metal t-shirt by Screaming Guy 1 both really threw me for a loop and ended up really helping. I was imagining some kind of Shantae-esque fantasy world, but once heavy metal clothing entered the picture, I decided that this character would be in a band, and that had a huge impact on everything else. With all this in mind, and still wanting some cartoony platformer aesthetics for the whole thing, I drew this first take on our character. And it's fine, but I don't think it's quite there yet. While I like her proportions, the boots, and some of the straps on her arms, I think the hair is a little bit off. Plus, I think she comes off a little less like a member of a metal band and more like some Egyptian princess who just happened to throw on a black shirt that morning. Speaking of the shirt, Screaming Guy 1 originally wanted this to specifically be for the band Ghost, but, you know, I had to veto that and go for something a little bit more generic. Also, she still looks a little bit like a regular Gorgon, so this one is a no-go. Yeah, stuff like that is why we have first draft, so back to the drawing board we go. With the second take, I had the idea to use hooded snakes as a design base. So I gave her a hood with a long tail hanging behind it like she's almost wearing a snake, and I tried to style her bangs after where the fangs would have been if that were the case. Keeping the overall proportions, the boots, and the straps of the former design, I then decided to add a skirt with some snake-like markings on it. I also used the ridged underbelly of the snake as a basis for her own stomach, as well as for a pair of leggings that are close in color to her actual skin tone. You know, just to give her a little extra touch of femininity. I also wanted to show a bit of that temper hiding somewhere underneath her trying to stay cool look. So now she looks like she's close to having had enough of other people's shenanigans. Since we're leaning into the whole heavy metal thing, I made her largely black and red, though with a bit of orange to break it up and make her design slightly brighter than it otherwise would be. Oh, and I gave her blue eyes. You know, just to show that there's a nice enough girl in there somewhere. We can call it the Benjamin Grimm effect. And there she is! I really like how this turned out. But she still needs a name, and after spending some time haphazardly mashing together various snake species and girl names, I finally settled on AMAMBA. And yes, to all you herpetologists screaming at the screen right now, I know mambas are not hooded snakes. I also don't care. I still haven't decided exactly what instrument she plays though. Like, is she a drummer, a guitar player, a bassist? Nah, why don't you guys let me know what you think suits her best in the comments. And if you're curious what her adventure is gonna be like and what kind of foes she'll be facing, well, you're just gonna have to watch the next video, aren't you? See you there, folks, and thanks for watching. No, seriously, thanks so much for watching the video. I fully plan to make more of these, so keep an eye on my socials and on my community tab to chime in with your suggestions in the future. If you want, you can support me on Patreon and join me on my Discord server, which is also dedicated to the other stuff I do on YouTube, like this media review channel and this Let's Play channel. Check those out if you have a moment. Don't forget to like the video, leave a comment below, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next art video. Bye bye.